Hi there, this is Tammy with Tammy's Stamping Therapy. Today I'm going to show you how I made this cute little mini album. You can put photos in it or just use it for journaling. You could use it for a special event, for a gift, or just for yourself. You can use it for a birthday, or there's many uses. This album is made using CD folders. You can see that I have used 2 CD folders, and then in between I have a piece of cardstock that adds an extra set of pages. The CD folders look like this. I get them from a company online called Uline. It's up in Washington, so if you're close to that, you can, I believe, go directly to their factory and save on shipping and handling. So to start this, I'm going to take this piece of petal pink cardstock. I have scored it at 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5, and 8. And I've folded it accordion style. And I am going to take the adhesive off the back and fold it all up to make the spine for the first section of the little album. I'm doing this with Stampin' Up's tear and tape, which works really nice for making any kind of a book. I'm hoping I'm on camera. It's hard for me to see what's going on my screen. Let's see. So here is my cool little spine that I'm going to put inside this album. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a piece of tear and tape on the back of it, right here, so that once it's inside, it's going to stay there. Then I'm going to stick this side in here, fold this backwards, and what I'm doing is sliding this small 1-inch tab into this other pocket on the other side of the folder. And sometimes it's kind of hard to get it in there just right. This is the hardest part of the whole book, I promise. So I've got that in there. Now I have a spine for my little book. And I am going to place this piece where I want it, and then I'm going to remove the tear and tape cover from the back. And stick this down so that it won't move. The next thing I'm going to do is attach this 5x5 piece of beautiful Magnolia designer paper to the left side of this. The way that I've put the book together, you could use the pocket that's on the left side, but it's kind of hard to get to it. So if you were going to use this pocket, you can see right here where it is. You might want to cut a little finger hole in this piece also before you put it down. I like just covering it up myself. So I have that down. And then on this side, I have a piece that was 5 by 3 3/4, and I matched it up here, marked it with a pencil, and I can see that I need to erase my pencil marks. And then I cut it on my paper cutter. So I'm going to stick this down on this side. And liquid glue works great for things like this because it gives wiggle room. You have time to move things around before they're stuck down permanently. And you can keep moving it a little bit as you need to. I'm using the mono adhesive liquid glue that Stampin' Up sells. And then to make the tags that go inside here, I have a piece of Mossy Meadow cardstock that's 4.5 by 2, and I'm going to punch the end of this with the tag topper punch. This piece needs to be just a hair under 2 inches wide to fit in the punch without issues. And then I have this piece of designer paper I'm going to stick on here. It's 3 3/8 by 1 3/4. I'm going to attach that down on my tag. And I actually have 3 tags. I've already made the other 2. I've put tear and tape on the back of each one, and I'm going to put them on these 3 little spines. So I'll take this off, and I'm going to add this first one on the back spine all the way to the left, and I'm sticking it all the way down. And then I'm going to add the other green one to the front spine all the way to the right, sticking it down. And then I'm going to put this one in the middle, centering it between the 2 of them. So there is that piece right there. I have a layered piece that I've created to go inside that. The white is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. The Mossy Meadow is 4 1/2 inch square, and this just slides right in here. And that's the first part of the album. So that's most of this first folder. The last thing I'm going to do is put this piece on the inside left cover. The white is 2 7/8 inch square, and the petal pink is 4 1/2 by 3 1/2. And this is meant to look like a Polaroid photo, the way that it's laid out. And you can, because the petal pink is a light color, you could put journaling on the bottom of it and add a photo to the center. Or you could put journaling in this square and add some other sort of embellishment there. So that's the end of this folder. And then I'm going to finish the folder that goes on the back. And I've already started it because it's the same as the front folder. All these pieces are the same. But what's different is this piece right here. And I'm going to add a scallop circle right here. And this scallop circle is where you could add a photo or an embellishment or whatever you want to put there. So I'm going to show you how I made the little envelope. The designer series paper is 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, and I've scored it at 2 inches on the long side and 1/4 inch on each short side. I'm going to fold and burnish on all of my score lines. And we're going to make this cute little envelope. And before I put it together, I am going to take the short side and make like a little thumb hole. So this is a 1/2 inch circle punch, and I'm centering it. And then I'm going to cut away this part right here using my Stampin' Up! Paper snips. Love these scissors. They are so sharp, and they're very pointy also. They could be used like a weapon. I love making my own envelopes and embellishments. Any little extra thing that I need. It's fun to make it yourself. So add a little bit of glue on here and on here. And I'll fold this down and burnish this a little bit. I'll set that over there. And then the inside, what goes inside this little envelope, this is the Stampin' Up! Circle Tab Punch, and it's going to make a tab on the little piece that comes out. So I have 2 3/8 by 1 3/4 of designer series paper, and then I have 2 5/8 by 2 inch Mossy Meadow. I'm going to attach this designer paper to the Mossy Meadow. I'm not actually going to attach that yet. I'm going to put the tab on first because I want the paper to cover up the tab. So I'll put a little bit of glue there, and then on this side. And I'm going to line this up so that these edges go past the edge of the cardstock, but not too far, and I want it centered as much as possible. Close that up. Now I will add the designer paper. This is going to slide right inside this little envelope, so this could have journaling on it or a photo. You could do it on either side. And I'm going to put tear and tape along this edge. If I can find the end of my tear and tape. This bottom edge. Burnish that a little bit. Find my paper piercing tool and take this off. And then I'm going to bring this back, and this is going on the right edge of the front spine piece. Now this inside piece is done, and then what I need to do is, and it's going to be a little resistant to folding flat at first, but once it's all put together and you tie it up for a while, then it all works the way you want it to. The next thing I want to do is use this piece. This is 10 3/8 by 5 inches, and it's scored at 5 1/8 and 5 1/4, and then I've already folded and burnished on those lines. I'm going to use this in between the two folders to create a whole nother page. So in order to do this, make sure I have this folder right first. I'm going to attach it here, and I'm going to put glue all over this piece here. And the reason I'm using glue and not tear and tape is because glue gives me time to maneuver it. Tear and tape is instantly stuck. Both are strong. Glue is a little bit stronger. I've never had anything that I glued fall apart. Once in a while, tear and tape, if it's not burnished right, it might fall apart. So I'm going to put this in here, centering it, leaving a little bit of a border all the way around all the sides. And you'll notice it sticks out a little bit. When the album is done, you won't notice that as much. But if you put it flush with the edge of the folders, then it won't open very well in the center. It'll be kind of like it's being bound up a little bit. So now I'll put glue on here. And then I'm going to attach this to this folder. Hopefully this is still all on camera. Make sure it is stuck down nicely and even around all the edges. Cool. So that part is good. Inside the center here, I have two pieces that are 1 inch by 5 inches, and I'm going to put one on each side. Isn't this paper pretty? I like both sides, so it's hard to choose which side I want to use. But for this side, I didn't want stripes. So I'm going to put this right along this edge. Put this right along this edge. Okay. And then I have the piece to go in the center of this that I'm going to assemble. This first part is 8.5 by 3.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Inside this piece, I'm going to put two white pieces that are each 3 1/4 by 4. These pieces, again, you can add a photo, you can add journaling, you could do, I don't know, something totally different. I don't know what it would be, but you could. Let's put this here, and this here. And this makes a little fold out thing. And then I'm going to attach I have a 4 by 3¼ piece of Mossy Meadow. I'm going to put on the front. And then a 3¾ by 3" piece of designer paper, and see, this is the other side of what's on the edge. So we're using both sides of it. And then I'm going to attach this to the inside of the book. Try to center it a little bit. So that goes there. And then I'm going to put a pocket here that with an insert that I can stick in it. So the pocket is 4½ by 2½, and I've scored it a ½ inch on 3 sides, 2 short sides and 1 long side. I am going to first cut off the corners, just right across that X that's made by the 2 score marks. And then I am going to attach this designer paper that's 3¼ by 1¾ put that right here. And then I'm going to fold and burnish on all these score lines. I'm going to put glue on these score lines. Not score lines, on the folded tabs. And I'm going to put this right here. And I'm going to need to hold it down for a few minutes till the glue grabs. It also helps to keep burnishing gets the glue to do its job quicker. And you could set it aside and put something heavy on it, but this glue dries pretty quickly, or at least grabs quickly. I have a white piece that's 3½ by 3 Whisper White, and a Petal Pink piece that is 3¾ by 3¼ and I'm going to layer these together, and then they're going to be the insert for that pocket. I'm going to stick this right in here. It's not wanting to go down all the way. There we go. So that is that part. And that's how you put the whole book together. And then I'm going to do the outside cover. So the first thing to do on the outside is to put on the ribbon. If I can find my ribbon. Here it is. So I have this piece of ribbon that goes with this Magnolia Lane suite and matches the paper very nicely. To put the ribbon on, I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape on the front of the book in the center. And I've already folded this in half so I know where the center is. And then I'm going to attach this right here. And I'm going to turn it over and put tear and tape on the back. Guess I'm a little high as far as the center goes, so I'll lay this here to show me where I need to put it. It's going to go right here. And then I'm going to wrap this way. Then we have our ribbon that is going to be the closure for the book. It's a little bit crooked. To finish off the cover, for the back cover I have a piece that is 5 by 5, and then the designer paper is 4¾ by 4¾ and I'm going to add that. And I want my stripes to go up and down, so I need to be sure I do front and the back the same way. In the front, I need to glue my designer paper. See, this is beautiful on both sides also, but because of what I'm going to put on top of it, I wanted paper that was not too busy. These flowers are really pretty, but what I'm going to put on top would get lost, so I'm not going to do that. Add this to the front cover. And then the fun part comes. This stamp set is called Good Morning Magnolia, and it has this beautiful big magnolia and matching dies. So I've already stamped it and partially colored it and cut it out, and I'm going to finish the coloring. I just have one leaf and one petal left to take care of. I colored the stem with light and dark soft suede Stampin' Blend markers. The leaves are with Mossy Meadow light and dark Stampin' Blends, and then the flower is with Petal Pink Stampin' Blends. So to do this, I'm going to first color in this whole leaf. And there are many ways to color. These are alcohol markers, and everybody has a different idea of the right way to color with them. One thing is to it needs a really light touch. The tip is very fragile, and it doesn't take much pressure to get the color down that you want, and it will ruin the tip if you're too hard on it for too long. These markers have a different tip on each side. The brush tip is what I just used. This is what I guess I would call a bullet tip, and it is harder and less, you can't mess it up as easy, but also if you're doing just a line like I want to do here, then it works better. So I'm adding some shading, and then I'm going to go back with my light again. Add some more color, and then go back and add just a little bit more in there. These markers are made to blend together, so it looks really cool. It's funny, I don't like to color, but I'm always drawn to stamp sets that involve coloring, so I've had to learn how to do it, and my only thing is that it takes a while, and I'm a quick and done type person. Let's see, this last petal, I'm just going to add, I didn't color these all the way in, I just added a little bit of color because magnolia flowers are actually white. So we're just adding a little bit of color. So you can still see the white flower. That's done, and what I want to do is add this to the front of my book, and I'm just going to add it using the Tombow glue. Isn't that pretty? I think it's beautiful. And then I am going to, here's my little bowl. I'm going to add a word to the front, and I've already die cut and stamped some little things to use for embellishments. So on this front cover right here, I want to use this word friend. It's hard to see. This is from one of the 2 daisy stamp sets that we currently have. I like the font and I like the word. And I have punched out this white punch with, I don't remember which punch it is, but I'll tell you in the description below. We'll have a list of everything that I've used. So I got that. Although I made a mistake. I don't know if you can see that. I rocked a little bit, which I always tell the people in my classes, firm, even pressure, no rocking. because when you rock, you get the lines of the outside edges of the rubber much better. And then I'm going to color the edges of this to make it stand out a little bit. I'm going to use a piece of a Stampin' Sponge, and I'm using Mossy Meadow ink, and I'm just going to color the edges. And I'm going to pop this up with Stampin' Dimensionals. I love popping things up. I like things to be 3D. And our Stampin' Dimensionals fill the whole sheet, but they have this stuff around the edges, and I use all of it too, so nothing goes to waste. Take these off. Add this right here. And now all that's left to do is to embellish my book. So I've stamped these little word pieces. I have, friends make the good times better. Every little kindness makes the world brighter. And this tiny little friend piece. I'm also going to embellish using these metallic pearls. And I think this package has both silver and gold in it, and I'm going to use gold. So on the front of this, I'm going to use my paper piercing tool. Get that. I'm going to put one of these here. And I think I might stick some in the center of this flower. I'll put 3 of them in there. I think adding pearls or rhinestones, any little embellishments, they seem to add a lot. And I think that's all I'm going to do to the front part of it. Inside, let's see, I have these die cuts. These come with the dies that match this Magnolia, Good Morning Magnolia stamp set. So there's this die that will actually cut out a flower that you stamped, but it also goes with this die to make this. So I'm going to put these two together. And it just takes a tiny little bit of the glue in some strategic places. Don't have to cover the whole thing. And then I can put this on here. And I will push this down, set that one aside to dry. And I think I might just add like a leaf right here. Doesn't take much to make it look cool. This paper is pretty busy. These flat tags right here, you could put ribbon on the end if you wanted to. I didn't really want to do that with mine. And then you could put pictures on here. You could put some stamped words on here. You could put some white on there and use it for journaling. You could do the same on the back. I left the back blank. And I think I'm going to add this flower, this corner here. And maybe, no, I'm not going to put any rhinestones there. And I think I'm going to sponge the edge of this with the green, so it'll stand out. Right now it's stark white, it's hard to see it. And I'm going to put it on there. And I might add a leaf or two here. Maybe I'll add 2. I have some little ones also. And because I'm using glue, it doesn't take much because glue bonds paper to paper. So once it dries, it's not coming apart. And then I think I'll do the same thing there again because I like the way that looked. And where do I want to put you? I'll put this right here. Friends make the good times better. This one I'm not going to sponge. I think that's okay the way it is. And then I have my tiny little friend. Yeah, I'll put that right there. I'll sponge the edge of this. And I'll put this on with just a hair of glue. Maybe I'll put it down here. Oh, I'll put it there. Let's see, I have one leaf left of this little stuff that I made, so I'm going to put that leaf. Maybe I'll stick it across the bottom here. So there, the little book is all done. I don't think there's anything else I want to do to it. So we have our front cover with the beautiful magnolia and the word friend. Our first page has 3 tags in it, plus a pocket. Center page has this fun flip out piece, and then a pocket with a piece that comes out. And then the last page has these cute little envelopes that have the pull out pieces in them, plus a pull out piece, and then the back. And then you will tie it up. Tying bows on camera is one of my least favorite things to do. I can tie bows all day long until you put me in front of a camera. So that like that, and I might just trim the edges of my ribbon. There, the little book is done. I have 2 of them here. This one I made for a retreat that I usually do every year, where we go to Leavenworth, Washington, and we have extra classes, and this book was a class for that last year. All the supplies I used on this album will be listed in the description below. I want to thank Crystal, whose YouTube channel is I'm Busy Crafting. She hosted a challenge that got me back into making videos again. It's been a while since I made one, and I've been wanting to do it, but just couldn't find the time. So I figured out how to do it, and this was my first one. I have several others that I'm planning to make. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll have a link to my storefront below with Stampin' Up! So if you like any of these supplies, feel free to go to my website and order them. I think that's it. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.